Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Lad. So till now we have done the structural programming. In other words, we have used the functions to write the programs. From this tutorial onwards, we're going to start learning the object-oriented programming. So the main feature of C++ is the object-oriented programming. Apart from whatever we learn in C, the entirely new thing is this object-oriented feature. So we're going to start learning the object-oriented programming by learning about the classes and objects. So first of all, what are these classes and objects? So let's think about a real world example. Let's say you want to write a program on human beings. So the humans has the attributes. For example, every human has a name, and every human has his own sex. Every human has his own height, weight, etc, etc. And also the human does some activities. For example, say the human talks, the human eats, the human walks. And somehow if we can combine these activities and the actions under one name or under one place, then it's gonna be very easy to write the programs. So a class is a user-defined data type which allows us to group the activities and the actions together. Or if we think this classes as a data type, then this class is a user-defined data type which allows us to combine the data and the actions that are gonna performed on that data together. Our human example, where the human has attributes name, sex, height, and the actions that he walks, he eats, he talks. So we can combine all these attributes under one data type, and that is called class in C++. Okay, now we're gonna see how to write a class in your program. Okay, the first thing is we're gonna declare the class outside this main function. If we do that, then we can access that class in whatever the functions we write in our program. That's why we're gonna declare that outside all the functions. So if you declare it inside a function, then it's gonna be available to that function only. Okay, to define a class or to declare a class, you need to write the keyword class and then the class name. For example, let's say human being. So the class name is gonna be human being. While naming the class name, people always start with the capital letters, and if that class name consists of two words, then the second word will also be capitalized, like this, human being. Alright, then a pair of curly braces and then the semicolon. And now the variables and the functions that we can declare or define in between these curly braces are considered as the members of this class. It's similar to the definition or the declaration of a structure. Now the next thing that I want you guys to teach you is about the access specifiers. An access specifier tells where whatever the functions and data we have declared in this class will be available, whether it is available outside this class or whether it is available only inside this class, all these things. So if you don't understand, don't worry, in the next tutorial it's going to be very clear. So here we're going to write public and a colon, not a semicolon. So this public is an access specifier here which tells to the C++ that okay, whatever we're gonna write after this public can be accessed from this class and also from outside this class. It means we can access all the public features of a class from all the functions which are written outside the functions, which are not a member of a class. So in other words, we can say that if you take our human being example, every human has some secrets, and we don't want that secret to be known to the outside people. We want only some information that should be known to other peoples. So when we say public here, whatever we write next to this, it's going to be available to all the functions that we use in our program, or that is available outside this class. Alright, So the next thing that we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to write a function, only a function, since this is our first tutorial, and that function is going to display a message. So I'm going to call it as void, then display, no return types, no return values, and no parameters, and then the definition of the function body, and we say hello, I'm a human being. Alright, okay, the next thing that I want to teach you is about the objects. So this class is the blueprint or the data type, but an object is the real world scenario. Object is a variable of a class. So this class just defines the properties and the actions, and creating an object allows us to store the values in that and also perform or call the functions. Alright, and if we talk about this object at variables, then it's nothing but just a variable from a data type. For example, we were creating a variable of type int. Here this int is a data type and a is a variable. Similarly, an object is a variable of a class. So an object is nothing but the runtime scenario of a class or a runtime variable of a class. Alright, to declare an object in your program, first we need to write the class name, that is human being, and then the variable or the object name. So in this case I'm gonna say Anil. So now we have an object of the class human being, similar to the declaration of the variables. And the next thing is about accessing the data or the functions and the variables defined in the class. So here, to access this display function written in this class definition, first we need to write the object name, it's going to be Anil, and then the dot operator, and then the C++ knows what to call, that's the display function, and add a semicolon and save it. And I'm gonna build and run this program. It says hello, I'm a human being. So one more time, a class is a user defined data type which acts like a blueprint for creating more and more objects of it. And to define a class in our program, we're going to use the class keyword, and then we need to specify the class name and then the definition of the class. An access specifier tells whether a class member or the function defined in a class is available outside the class or not. And to create an object, we need to specify the class name first and then the name of the object. And to use the members of a class, we need to use the dot operator. So this is it, guys. This is about the introduction to the classes, and in the next tutorial we're gonna learn some more thing about the classes and objects. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.